Hello everyone, this is Nathan Chu again. Sa mga followers ko, kung meron man kayo dyan, I'm sorry for the long absence. I've been pretty busy. I'm doing some studying, so I'm really not as available as I used to be. But hopefully, it will. there will come a time that I'll be done with this and I'll be back on my regular schedule. But I'll try my best to just keep on producing a vlog post or vlogs or blog posts like this as consistently as at least twice a month. But right now, I'm happy to be back. And for those of you who are new, I am a counselor from the Philippines. And if you're interested in what I can do to help you with your problems in life, just visit my website, onelifeonly.net. Okay, and you can like and subscribe to this channel. I also post this on Spotify as a podcast. All right. So for today's vlog or blog post or podcast, I'm going to talk about conflict. All right. So most of us, especially Filipinos like me, don't really like conflict. Okay. We're not very comfortable with that. So, but there's such a thing as you can be successful in your conflicts. You might be wondering how that could be. You're starting off on the wrong foot. So, uh, maybe you can listen to this and kind of think through it and see if I make a point here. Okay. So once again, I'll just be reading from my blog post. So here it goes. I have heard it said before that couples who don't fight don't talk either. The same things, the same thing can be said about families and friends. So families and friends, um, if you guys don't talk, if you guys don't fight, maybe you're not talking either. We can be so averse to conflict that we often opt out of talking about them. I often hear couples demand that their partners should have as should be as similar as they are as they sorry. Okay, so my partner should already know what I want, and asking for it will make me look pathetic. All right, so kakahiyang tanungin. I mean, bakit ko naman tatanungin? Dapat alam niya na yan, if I ask, then parang hindi naman natural. Alam mo yun? So, and magmumukha akong pathetic, right? In our culture, it is common to see couples come to seek therapy due to the long periods where there have been so many bottled up emotions. So mga hindi nasasabi. In this article, I will share with you, or in this video or podcast, I will share with you some things you can try to help you prevent conflicts that can either drive you apart because of a major fight or make you imperceptibly drift apart. Okay? So, minsan ang conflict dahil hindi napag-uusapan or napag-uusapan pero hindi naman alam paano i-handle, they end up escalating or couples may end up not talking at all. And that is the start of things starting to drift apart or the relationship starting to drift apart. So, first tip is to tune in to your feelings. In contrast to what most of us might believe, conflict can actually be healthy in close relationships. It's really how we handle them that can make a difference. One way to avoid escalating conflicts is for us to tune in to the deeper feelings that are hidden in our efforts to protect ourselves from exposing our vulnerabilities. In many challenging situations, we are often unaware that we have mixed emotions. So I'll explain what mixed emotions are in the next slide. A good example to use is when we lose someone in death or when we're grieving. Most of us believe that the only legitimate emotion that we should feel is sadness. Yes, that is true. Sadness would most likely be first on our list. But for some of us end up unable to accept the grieving process, believing that we are somehow defective for having other feelings like guilt, anger, or even relief at the idea that the burden of caretaking that has been lifted out of us. All right. So sometimes when we have grief or we're going through the grieving process and we don't understand, we have these misconceptions about grief, that grief is just all about sadness for the loss. And sometimes the person who passes away is probably someone you don't like particularly. So, of course, you will have feelings like, why am I sort of relieved that this person is no longer here? Or why am I having these feelings of relief? And now I'm feeling guilty. All right. Or sometimes you feel angry. Why were you so, why did you leave me so early in life? All right. You should have been more careful. All right. In relationships, it is legitimate to feel anger or irritation with our loved ones. So, our minds will say, well, with all the movies that we see, when you're in love, you should never get angry at your partner or your spouse. But, you know, that's how the problem solving mind works. Tuning into ourselves involves discovering the other feelings that we might be missing. Are there other feelings involved here? See for yourself if showing just one side of you to your partners is helping you come to a resolution. If not, maybe it is time to let your partner see those other sides of you. For some, the angry side of us is what our loved ones want to see. Maybe our indifferent attitude has made them think that they don't matter. At least seeing our anger tells them they matter. So anger is an emotion. It's legitimate. There's nothing wrong with anger. It's what we do with the anger that gets us into trouble, right? Now, sometimes all our loved ones see uh, is the anger that's present in the room. Or sometimes the anger, when it's shown or acted on, at least in a, you know, non-violent way, okay, or non-abusive way, can actually signal to our loved ones that they matter. Because sometimes we are so indifferent to them that they feel like, is this really my partner? Is this really my dad or my mom? They don't really seem to care. They're so flat, they don't see any emotion from somebody they care about. So the second tip is in cases where you lose it, then there might be times when you just couldn't help but go back to your old ways of handling the situation. You very well know You've gone away from what you would like to be in the situation. Listen to your senses. If it's if it doesn't feel like you like yourself in those situations, then waste as little time as possible and make amends. Begin an open and honest conversation about it. So, walang perpektong tao, even myself. All of us make mistakes. All of us sometimes react too quickly, and we end up doing things that we regret. So, the thing is to be mindful or to be aware of those situations and to go back to how you want to be in those challenging situations. And if you feel like you haven't been the person you want to be, then just say sorry. One thing I help couples to realize in the counseling room is that the work they do does not guarantee that they will never make mistakes. It is impossible to expect near perfection from your partner. They can accept that these are tendencies that the relationship will probably evoke in each of them when there are major challenges and changes. Well, one thing in life for sure is there will be changes. Couples and relatives can ask themselves one thing to recover from such ill-fated arguments. Has anything changed in what they value? Have their deepest aspirations for themselves in the relationship become different? Chances are they have not. Their values remain the same. I recall Dr. Stephen Hayes' analogy of how we are in times of challenges. He reminds us of what we were like as toddlers. Toddlers fall down countless times, experiencing, at times, excruciatingly painful wounds just to learn how to walk. Well, we've all been toddlers before. We can remind ourselves that before we had language, we kept on standing up when we fell. There were no rules that told us what we can or cannot do. The only thing we instinctively did was to stand up again and walk towards what matters to us. So I love that analogy from Dr. Stephen Hayes. I always remember that, and that whenever I make a mistake. Okay. Say you're sorry and do it over again. We are all a work in progress. Perfection is not what we were built for. And that's why we are called, or we are all called, simply to be human. All right. So that's the end of today's podcast, video, or article. And sorry if my article is not as well written. Sometimes I make my own corrections while I'm reading them here, but I do make corrections whenever I'm rehearsing to for this uh, video for these videos. All right. Okay, so that's it. Again, please visit my website, onelifeonly.net, for those of you who would like to learn more about what I do. And all of these will be in the website. Hopefully, I don't forget any one of them. And you guys take care and please like and subscribe and follow us on Spotify. So take care now. Bye bye. Till the next video.